What's up, everyone? This is Kronos, aka Adam, back with another WWE Week in Review. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, social media down there. What I do every week is I go through everything that happened on WWE programming, Raw, NXT, and Smackdown, recap and review. And if there are any kind of, big news items that have come up along the week, I'll address them as I come across them. And so it's hot in here. I just did my AEW Week in Review yesterday. That'll be up on the channel as well. I'll have a link at the end of the video here. And so we'll get right into it. So we start off with Raw. We've got Orton coming out. We get a recap of last week with Big Show. As always, goes over his bona fides. Rock and Austin can't hold a candle to him. He wakes up, he feels like something is missing, the WWE title. Starts shitting on Drew, but then says he has his respect now. He kind of shit on his past and how he got fired and all that kind of stuff. And he challenges Drew to SummerSlam, which, obviously has been rumored for a while, because how many more legends are there for him to kill, being the legend killer. And I just gotta fix my mic. So my mic is a little closer. Hopefully that sounds a little better. We've been waiting for this. We knew that eventually there was going to be, a collision course of Drew and Randy Orton. So apparently we're going to get it at SummerSlam. And so we got Nia Jax shows up as Orton heads to the ramp. They give each other a quick glance. I wish they really paid this off a little more because of 2 years ago in the Royal Rumble when Jax got beat up R-Truth to take his spot at 30, and then she got beat up by everybody, took an RKO. Would have been nice to have just a little bit of extra between them, but they kind of just looked at each other. She says that she knows how Orton feels because she wants to be the Raw Women's Champion again. Charlotte got in her way last time. Shayna's music hits. Shayna says nobody gives a damn about you want. Fight breaks out. Refs come out. Did not like this at all because it looked like Shayna was just getting shit on by Nia, and that Nia was almost no-selling all the offense. Which I think is a little ridiculous. I mean, Shayna just needs to be an absolute buzzsaw, and honestly, I'm just done with Nia Jax. I just don't care anymore. So we see Street Profits in the ring. They get to introduce the number one contenders triple threat match between the War Raiders, Ricochet and Cedric Alexander, and Andrade and Angel Garza. So Angel, they do like a little comedy thing for everybody. Andrade and Angel Garza take out both before the bell rings. Garza throws his pants at Dawkins, trying to get him all riled up. Double team on Ivar as Andrade and Garza watch. All four attack Angel Garza and Andrade eventually. Each double team on each other. Then we get some alliance changes where Ricochet and Andrade work on Eric. Back from break, Garza and Andrade double team on the Raiders on the outside. Ivar to the top for a Swanton, whatever you want to call it. Takes out everyone of Cedric, Ricochet, and Eric. So, Angel Garza and Andrade are by themselves. They bring Cedric into the ring. Angel hits the wing clipper for the win. So this tag team title match will be at SummerSlam. Obviously, these are, I think, the only 4 tag teams that are actually in the Raw division right now, which is actually saying more than there is for the Smackdown tag division. They take a cheap shot on the Street Profits and then run off. We get Nia backstage with John Cone because he was the ref who kind of quote unquote screwed her out of it last time. Fixing my camera, sorry. And then we get supposedly Nia versus Shayna, but a brawl breaks out. It's a count out. It's so stupid. Once again, there's 2 idiot security guards. I literally said this is dumb and this is stupid in my notes. We get a recap for an eye for an eye match. Seth and Murphy are backstage. Seth is sure Dominic will show up. We get Mark Henry talking to Ruby and Bianca. Obviously, the idea of a new nation, I think, has been pretty much quashed by management. I think, maybe they just couldn't crack the code to do it right and do it in the spirit of what's been going on in the country now. I'm not sure, but I think a new nation would have been cool. I don't think it needs to be like, a heel faction even. They could be, just the nation, and, it could have been like Cedric, Ricochet, and Ali. They could have figured out a way to do that and do it right if they had smart writers, but what are you gonna do? Seth music hits. Someone always gets hurt when they try to confront him. He mentions Black's arm injury, which obviously there's been a lot of rumors that Vince McMahon has really liked Tom Budgen, the shoot name of Aleister Black, but he's not sold on the Aleister Black character, which I think is ridiculously stupid because I think his character is great and doesn't need to be changed. But it looks like from what we've hearing that his time off, for the kayfabe arm injury is going to allow him to get repackaged. I have no confidence that they're going to do anything right by him. So. He doesn't want violence. He asks Dominic to come out to the ring. Seth offers a hug. Even though Murphy holds the ropes for him, Dom hits the double leg takedown. They attack him to the outside, toss him in the barricade and the commentary desk. He's selling it like a champ. Seth thinks about the steps. Black comes out, but can't take them both, and they go for his arm. V-trigger and a stomp to Black on the outside. Seth tells Murphy, "You know what you have to do. Are you in this for real?" Kind of just saying, hey, this guy has beaten you and humiliated you. Murphy gets psyched up and then pushes Black's eye into the steps. Dominic snaps and then uses the kendo stick and just really kicks the shit out of everybody. I would have liked to see Samoa Joe step in. I mean, this would, it's not like it wouldn't be the first time that he stepped in to Seth when Seth was giving beatdowns to people. So, especially because, we find out that Humberto Carrillo was there, just didn't get involved, which makes no sense, and they didn't even mention why. It would have been nice if Joe kind of stepped in at one point. Backstage with Ali and Truth. Truth asks if he's going for the 24/7 title, and Ali says absolutely not. He goes, okay, because I got my eyes on you, Mufasa. We get the VIP lounge. Mustafa Ali is the guest. He's happy to be back. He's not going to get brainwashed by MVP like the other two meatheads. Truth tries to take out Shelton for the 24/7 while this is going on, but he doesn't get it, and then he flees, which I thought was kind of funny. We then get our match, Ali vs. Lashley. Ali's not backing down, but getting just completely overpowered. Lashley hits a stalling suplex. Akira tries for the 24/7 on Shelton, fails, then gets double teamed. The ninjas get destroyed by everybody, by the entire Hurt Business. Ali sends Lashley into the barricade while he was beating up a ninja. Back from break, Lashley is back on top. Lashley sends Ali wildly into the post. You know how Ali just absolutely sells post shots. He kind of hits it, does it flip in the air. It's crazy. Hits an elevated flatliner on Ali for a 2 count. There's a huge bruise on Ali's stomach, probably from all the selling he's been doing. There's Dominator is countered into a satellite DDT by Ali. Goes for the 450 roll through, caught in a full Nelson for the win. So Lashley wins. I know there were people like, obviously you're burying Ali again by not giving him a win. I thought it was fine. I mean, Lashley is an absolute beast. He should win. He should win. It has nothing to do with kayfabe or shoot. It's just the way the trajectory he's been on. Ali can lose to Lashley. I mean, that's fine. So we get a backstage interview with Dolph Ziggler. Says he doesn't know the stipulation, but Randy will be facing him at SummerSlam. So there was some confusion as to whether or not this match was a title match coming up. I thought it was. I assumed it was. So then we get the Raw Women's title, Asuka versus Sasha. Remember, we know that the title can change hands in any way, shape, or form. It's not just pin or submission. It's count at, it's disqualification. It's anything. This was put in place by Stephanie McMahon to kind of curtail Sasha and Bayley and their antics. So we thought. Sasha calls Stephanie a bully because she's jealous. Kari's out with Asuka, so apparently she's still here, even though we'll find out later. Kari runs Bayley off, so it's an even fight. Shining Wizard by Asuka for a 2 count. Asuka goes for a Fujiwara. Sasha tries to counter, but gets countered into a proper armbar, but gets to the rope. Sasha with the backstabber off the ropes for a 2 count. We get a single leg crab by Sasha, and then stomps the left knee of Asuka. Sasha attempts to leave, does the toss the title in shtick, tries to toss the title to Asuka like Eddie Guerrero, one of her mentors, but the ref sees it. Sasha continues to focus on the left knee. Meteora pin for a 2 count, transition to a single leg crab. We get We get an ankle lock, German suplex, running hip attack, all by by Asuka for a 2 count. Sasha with the frog splash for a 2 count, and then into a bank statement, countered to an Asuka lock, and then Asuka sent to the outside. A lot of these were really great transitions and sequences. Sasha sends Asuka leg first into the commentary table, and then Asuka just beats the count. It almost looked like she botched it. Another bank statement. They then changed positions. The other arm countered to an ankle lock. And then all of a sudden on the Tron, we see Bayley beating Kyrie in the back. Kyrie calls out to Asuka, and Asuka runs to the back. She's kind of like, doesn't know what to do. She kind of has Sasha down, but she obviously wants to help her friend. So then Kyrie, Asuka does run off. Kyrie calls out. Bayley runs off when she sees Asuka. Asuka gets counted out. Sasha's the new champ. So that was kind of stupid. There were a couple of things here. I mean, the match itself was great up until that point. So there were a couple of issues I had. One, why did it just show up on the Tron? It would have been just little details, like Bayley brings the cameraman in, says, "Look what I'm doing. Hey Asuka, look what I'm doing." And then you see Kyrie's beat up a little bit, and then she goes, more onto the beatdown. So at least that made a little sense. Other than that, there's no reason why would the cameras just do that? The other thing that I thought was a little messed up was, if Kyrie's such a good friend, why is she calling out for Asuka? She knows that Asuka is in a match and that could lose that match. I get she's getting beat up, but it's like, take the beating. Like, she's not going to kill you. The whole point is, if she's going to kill you, she's going to murder you. It would be murder, and she would die. She would get in jail. So it's just a beatdown. So there's that. And then just the overall ending and the fact that it ended in a count out, and now Sasha is the new Raw Women's Champion. I mean, I'm fine with them holding all the belts. It works because they're probably the best thing on WWE television right now. Just sucks because, and this is how everyone is. Everyone wants, Bayley and Sasha to have the titles, but they also want Asuka to have the titles. So it's like, you can't make anybody happy anyway. Obviously, Asuka's going to get that belt back, as she should. So, we'll see what they do here. Backstage interview by the trainer's room. Then Bayley and Sasha run up and start gloating. Asuka comes out. She's really distraught, like almost tears in her face, screams in Japanese. We do find out that Kairi Sane is now officially done with WWE. She sent out a very heartfelt tweet thanking everybody, and there was just a lot of outpouring of emotion from her peers, how great she was. Unfortunately, I don't think she ever really was able to capture, or at least written for storylines that really highlighted the way she was, at least in NXT. Just seemed like she could never really get going. And then injuries played a part too, but also now she just wants to, I guess, be home with her fiance, husband. I don't know if they got married yet, but we get a tribute to Regis Philbin, who passed away, unfortunately. That was really shitty. But obviously he lived a very long life. And then we get Murphy versus Umberto, which obviously made a lot of people say, where the hell were you, Umberto, when Black and Dominic were getting their asses beat? They don't even mention it, like as if maybe he got to the arena late, he was too far away, something. Doesn't make any sense. Springboard back elbow by Umberto, a vicious PK to the back by Murphy for a 2 count. Murphy rushes Umberto in the corner, catches a super kick. Gamangiri, missile dropkick by Umberto for a 2 count. Umberto comes off the top, catches a V trigger into a Murphy's Law for the win. That was pretty sick. V trigger looked great. I love Murphy's Law. I think it's a great move for the win. I think I gotta get better lighting in this place. I need backlighting. I think that's what it is. I think that's what I'm going to order next. And then we get our main event, Drew versus Dolph. Drew accepts Orton's challenge before the match. Obviously, looking past Dolph, you're going to see. Unlike the RKO where you don't see it coming, you're going to see the Claymore coming. So apparently, Drew says what the stipulation for this match is. Just going to be an Extreme Rules match for both. Okay. So we get Dolph with the super kick, sends Drew into the post, stops another with back elbow. Dolph long darted into the plexiglass and it breaks. Drew Drew with a side Russian leg sweep into with a kendo stick into the barricade, which is pretty rough. We get Dolph hitting a low blow and then using a kendo stick. Drew catches Dolph off the apron and runs them both into the timekeeper's area through the barricade, which is pretty crazy. We get a Famouser out of desperation. Drew with a superplex. A Claymore attempt is countered into a zigzag for a 2 count, one of the least protected finishers in all of WWE. And then Drew eventually hits a Claymore through a table for the win as he's celebrating. RKO out of nowhere. So, and you knew it was coming. You just knew it was coming because that's just how Randy operates. So, there you go. That was Raw. Let's see how. 15 minutes for Raw. Not bad. Okay. And then we got NXT. So we start off right away with a tag team match. Io and Tegan Nox versus Candice and Dakota Kai. Io out to the ring, but Kai attacks her. Nox comes out, so does Candice. Io landing kicks on Kai. Kai with a monkey flip. Side kick to Io's face for a 1 count. Great submission by Io. Candice breaks it up. Nox sent it to the steps by Candice. Nox big headbutt on Candice. We get a Tiger Driver, fails, but gets a German release by Io. Io hits the Del Rio Stomp, which everybody hates, for a 2 count because, why is everyone waiting there? 619, and then a missile dropkick, double knees, all on Candice by Io. And then while the ref is distracted, Tegan comes in with the shiniest wizard, and then Io hits a very vicious moonsault, almost fucking crushes Candice's face. It was very, very close there. But does hit the moonsault for the win. We get a recap of the Cole and McAfee feud. If you didn't know, it has to be a work. It's a work. So Triple H is on Pat McAfee's show saying Cole apologized on Twitter. I mean, I would love to see the two of them go at it. That would be funny. Recap on Reed's win. Strong and Gargano have Twitter beef. Regal makes a match between them. So we get into that match. It's just, this is just an awesome match. Not as great as they can be, but, they're just so good in the ring together. No one can get really the advantage on the other. Springboard caught into a pendulum backbreaker for a 2 count by Strong. An Olympic Slam gets countered. Gargano escape gets countered into a pinning attempt for a 2 count. Strong with a Rana gets Rana into the barricade and tossed into the plexiglass. Eventually, Johnny Gargano hits the one final beat DDT for the win. It sucks because, I like both of them. I don't want to see either of them lose, but obviously it was a clean win, which I was happy about because so often that, when you have guys or girls that you like both or that everyone likes both of them, it's so hard to, get them into a clean win. So I was happy with that. We had a backstage interview with Kai, says she doesn't care about Candice, doesn't have to jump through hoops to be a number 1 contender. Rhea shows up with a new look. Problem Kai saying that she's next. Kai says we'll see what Regal thinks. So a couple things here. One, obviously I like the new look by Rhea. Welcome back. The other thing is the fact that Raquel Gonzalez has not been with her for a couple weeks now. I don't know if that's any kind of COVID related thing or if there's just a change in direction. I thought they actually really worked well together. So I would have an issue if they did just break them up, and especially for no reason. Like they just oh, that's it, and then Raquel Gonzalez goes on her own way, and there's no story behind that or understanding of why they broke up. So we'll see. She hasn't been there for 2 weeks. The first I think 2 weeks ago it was that no one was allowed to be back in her whatever match. I forget which match it was, but she wasn't allowed to have anybody with her, so maybe that was it. I guess we'll see. If it's 3 weeks in a row, then that should be an issue. So we get a backstage interview with Thatcher. 2 men will get schooled. Obviously, Loomis is... no, this is not Loomis. This is... Oh, yeah, this is... Loomis is obviously watching. Backstage with the Undisputed Era. Kyle's back, hyping everyone up, saying that he's tired of the Hollywood lifestyle because obviously that's where he's been, shooting movies. They're going to change the biz. That sounds, awfully familiar. Young Bucks. But I still love Undisputed Era. I think they're great. I am a little concerned, the whole... maybe it's the stuff they've been... the precautions they've been taking now allowed Kyle to feel comfortable enough coming back because, being a diabetic, he felt he was at risk for possible contraction of any of the disease. So I'm assuming that he feels good enough, to be able to compete now. We get Shotzi versus Mercedes Martinez. Stone Brand is out with Martinez. Stone with the distraction so Martinez can attack. Fisherman Buster by Martinez is countered. Code Red by Shotzi for a 2 count. Senton into the ropes by Shotzi. German release from the top by Martinez, which looked vicious. Shotzi just takes some crazy bumps. I can't really tell if this is the lighting here is just upsetting me. And then eventually she hits the air raid crash Martinez for the win. We get Ridge Holland debuting next week. Says he's after the North American title. This is I guess, this guy from the UK who's the bizarro Dexter Lumis. We get Lee out to the ring. Cross has done so much bullshit, said it a couple times, to get his attention. Calling him out for a face-to-face. Grimes music hits. It's Grime time. Grime is hilarious. Rick Grimes. Cameron Grimes is hilarious. Lee just pulls him into the ring, manhandles him. The lights dim, spotlight on the ramp for Scarlett. Grimes jumps at Lee, but gets spirit bombed almost on a microphone, which would have been rough. Crosses on the Tron. Lee let his friends suffer. He's got 2 choices: the easy way of a title shot, or the hard way where everyone will suffer. So at least I like that, where he's just the easy way is letting me beat you up. The hard way is making other people suffer, not you're just going to give up the title to me. Lee says, pick the time and the place, and he'll whoop that ass. So we get a non-title tag match, Imperium versus Everrise. No shot for Everrise. Powerbomb, Avalanche, Euro, uppercut for the win. Bartel starts giving a promo. Then the Undisputed Era music hits, and they take out Imperium. All 4 of them come out and just beat the shit out of Imperium. Obviously, Wolf and Walter are I think still in the UK. This was funny because obviously Imperium are the heels, so this is interesting to see how they do it. Okay, Bronson Reed. We get a video package vignette for him. Apparently that his wife is the reason why he's in wrestling. She was able to pay for all of his schooling and whatnot. Thick boy dream comes true. This was actually really nice. I do like that they're doing this. They did with Swerve last week, so that's pretty cool. Backstage, finished prepping for the match. Loomis is hiding behind him, watching him get dressed, I guess. I don't know, creep stuff. Regal video, he will not be bullied into making a championship match, but he's addressing both Lee and Cross. All titles opportunities need to be earned. We get Swerve Scott versus Jake Atlas. Atlas showing off his gymnastic skills. Springboard blockbuster by Atlas for a 2 count. Reverse DDT by Atlas for a 2 count. We get a release German diving, and then a driving flatliner by Swerve for a 2 count. Then while the 2 of them were on the middle rope, Atlas hits this Murphy's Law variation, and only for a 2 count, but it was super innovative. It caught a lot of people's eyes, not just mine. I saw people online talking about it too, but I put that down immediately because I was like, wow, that's really cool. That could almost be his finisher, because his finisher now, the cartwheel DDT, is cool, but the setup of it is kind of cheesy and looks like it takes a while, and you have to get the person right in the exact spot. So it's not one of those come out of nowhere things. So then Atlas gets kicked to the outside, where he's kind of hanging by the ropes by his toes, hanging on the outside. Swerve hits a house call kick, and then what he calls the JML driver for the win. So Swerve Scott continues winning ways. Obviously, he's going after the Cruiserweight title with Escobar and Legado del Fantasma. So, we'll see how that goes. Eventually, they're going to see each other. I'm assuming that'll be at the next TakeOver, because I think that could be an absolutely spectacular match between the 2 of them. We get an interview with Priest, Ridge Holland, and Oney Lorcan. He's going to face them next week in another triple threat for the ladder match. There will be no upset this time. The reign of infamy begins. Okay. So next week we get Ripley versus Kai for a number 1 contenders match, the triple threat triple threat for the North American ladder match, and a tag team title. Undisputed Era gets a tag team title shot against Imperium. So we get a triple threat. The main event. Dexter Lumis, Finn Balor, and Timothy Thatcher. Lumis is watching as Finn and Thatcher go at it. Loomis takes both out, tope con hero, but lands on his feet, except we find out that if you really look at it, it was completely staged. Obviously, they cut and did 2 different takes so that you see him landing right. It was kind of cheesy. Like, I went back and watched it. You could definitely tell. It would have been cool if it was all in one motion. I can't see him not being able to do that all of a sudden. I mean, obviously, what Ricochet did to Dream is, ridiculous, but... so everyone getting their shots in during picture-in-picture. Thatcher working over Finn, knocking Loomis out every time he tries to get back into the ring. Loomis finally does get back in, catches a Pele kick from Finn. Sling blade to Loomis, crotched, and then leg wrapped around the post by Thatcher. Spinebuster by Loomis on Thatcher. Thatcher with the dragon screw on Finn as he gets back into the ring. Does the side effect into the arm triangle on Thatcher. But then Finn hits a coup de grace, and then Thatcher breaks the count. Thatcher puts Finn in a knee bar. Loomis then puts Thatcher in the arm triangle while he's doing that, and he passes out for the win. So we get another upset. We get Dexter Loomis, who's going to be joining Bronson Reed in the North American title triple threat. The North American title ladder match. So that is your NXT for the week. I'm going to take a quick pause so I can run and get up some water. Ba-ba-da-ba. Okay, I'm back. H2O. And finally, let's see where we're at here. 26. Okay, so let's run through this. Smackdown. We get the stupid promos by everyone in the beginning. I don't like it. I find it really cheesy. Then we finally, which goes into a Firefly Funhouse. Bray is in scuba gear. Said he was looking for Braun but couldn't find him. He never wanted to hurt Braun. And that he is awake and wants something that Braun has. No one is safe until he gets it. I still don't think the Fiend needs a title. I think his just hurting people. I mean, with Braun, you have the story of him trying to bring him back into the fold. I think that would have been better. You didn't need a title on this. So, yeah. So we get the IC title match. Grand Metalik, who won the Fatal 4-Way last week against AJ. This was a pretty decent match, but not as good as I think people were expecting. Mostly because I think people were expecting more from Grand Metalik, but at the same time, you kind of have a double-edged sword here. You want Metalik to show what he has, but at the same time, you don't want him. You want to keep AJ very strong, as because he's one of the best in the world. So it's like, what do you do? So Metalik, was pretty much getting counted every time he tried to put any kind of offense in. AJ pretty much just sold it and then countered it. He goes after the left leg, tilt-a-whirl DDT by Metalik for a 2 count. Metalik goes for the ropes. AJ catches him midair, kind of like with a chop block. It was actually pretty sick. Eventually, he puts it in a nasty calf crusher, and Metalik has to tap out. There's a cheap shot on Lindsay, and then hits him with the Styles Clash. Obviously, everyone was like, oh, was AJ maybe turning a little face again, because he shook Riddle's hand? I think that was more out of just mutual respect. I think he doesn't obviously respect the house party, and therefore that's why he beat the shit out of them. We get Gable is watching backstage. Corbin comes up from behind. It says Hurt sitting on the sidelines. If you, but if you had the right friends, you wouldn't be sitting on the sideline. Calls him Chad. Says that they, Gable's like, oh, we're friends. He's like, we've always been friends. I was trying to motivate you, even though he's basically the reason why his whole short joke thing turned into Shorty G. And then Gable says, I know what you're trying to do. You want me to take out Riddle for you? And he says, the King's ransom is still there. Which, you see Gable kind of thinking about it, finding out, maybe he'll get involved. We'll find out what he does later. So we had a recap of the Sheamus Hardy match, basically the entire match without any of the stupid parts, which is kind of funny because there were a lot of stupid parts. Hardy's getting the celebration in the locker room. It was like Lex Luger getting a countdown win over Yokozuna. I mean, it was completely ridiculous and unnecessary. Hardy comes out to the ring. Beating Sheamus means a lot. He's on the right path. He goes, I'm an alcoholic. Again, we got to deal with this. Corbin comes out. I've never been so happy to see Corbin. He says, enough about the sobriety. in his kingdom is turning into an insane asylum. Hardy is more interested in AA meetings than the King's ransom. Drew Gulak attacks Corbin, which obviously leads into their match, which we were told about. So we get Gulak helped train Riddle for professional wrestling, so obviously he's not going to be, after the King's ransom. Gulak attacking the left shoulder. Spinebuster into a single leg crab by Corbin. Countered into a label lock. Corbin gets to the ropes. Deep six, and then Riddle's music hits, and what I thought was to distract him, but obviously, and then Gulak rolls him up in a small package, which, if you know Corbin, is like his Achilles heel. Apparently, but he ends up kicking out and then hitting an end of days for the win. Riddle goes on the attack, hits a final flash knee, and then right before he's about to do another one, Gable comes in with the Chaos Theory rolling German suplex. Saying that he, kind of looking at Corbin, doing the $sign. So now I guess this is a Gable heel turn, or maybe he's just, he just wants the money. Who knows? Kind of made Riddle look a little stupid because it's like he went to, make Corbin lose. Corbin ends up looking strong here because not only was he distracted, but still got the win on someone very good like Drew Gulak. He ends up getting the better of Riddle anyway. So obviously they're destined for a match together. I'm assuming it's going to be SummerSlam. I think they could put on a banger, but we'll see. And then we get the beginning of the Big E singles run against The Miz. So he didn't hit Corey in the face with the jacket. And then Corey's like, "You're gonna fail." So Miz is getting tossed around on the outside, but he was getting a lot of more offense than people expected on Big E. Big E misses with the splash on the apron. Hits a belly to belly 3 times on Miz. Does hit the running splash. And then eventually Miz gets the it kicks. Big E hits a Uranagi for a 2 count. He goes for the spear through the ropes, but it gets countered. Morrison hits, earlier he hits like some parkour, like off the stairs kick on Big E, which was pretty impressive. Just rocking, no shirt and jeans. I wish I could. He's just fucking chiseled, that guy. Morrison with another kick and then a skull crushing finale by Miz, only for a 2 count. Figure 4, E gets to the ropes. Morrison gets kicked out by the ref. Eventually, Big E puts Miz in what they call the stretch muffler, which he's used before but looked great. He actually had Miz up in the air, which he can do with most of the smaller guys, obviously. And Miz taps for the win. This is the beginning of what I hope is a really strong singles run for Big E. Stupid angle, Cesaro and Nakamura celebrating their win in the Champions Lounge. Lucha House Party comes in, so it's so not great to see them. Championship lounge only, so get out of here. I just thought it was stupid because Lucha House Party is now probably going to be, the next challengers for the tag team titles, but they just got their asses handed to them by AJ, so it's like, what are they even doing? So we get a Sheamus promo. He's still rocking the gear that he wore to the bar fight, which I like better, so hopefully he sticks with that. Problem was giving Hardy the home field advantage, yada, yada, yada. Says he's finally not his problem anymore, and it's a problem for everybody else. I hope so, because, that was just really bad. We get Lacey versus Naomi now. Lacey promo, she's beat Naomi over and over, but everyone still makes a hashtag for Naomi. We get a standing Rana, caught, and then powerbomb by Lacey. Lacey bends Naomi around the post, but pulling on her hair. Lacey traps Naomi's hair in the ring steps for a count out of 10, which I thought was really stupid because it just seemed like she could easily get out of that. And then she goes. So Lacey's on the outside. Naomi goes to slide out. It looks to be almost like a Canadian destroyer. She says it was supposed to be a sliding blockbuster on Twitter. She said that. I don't know. Either way, it looked really, really ugly, really botchy. But the other thing is, they're taped. Why didn't they just do the spot over? I don't get it. I don't get why they would do that. I think that could be maybe the thing, that people just, they're not really crazy about Naomi and they don't feel like they need to give her, that opportunity to fix it. So, we get a women's right counter into a backslide for the win. This was a really quick match too, so I'm assuming there's going to be another match. Probably a rubber match because I think they're 1-on-1 now. So we get backstage with Otis and Mandy. It's been a while since we've seen them, and been a while according to them since they've had a proper date. Mandy booked a spot at their best barbecue spot. They leave to go get ready. Sonya's lurking in the back. We come back from commercial. Mandy's getting ready in the mirror backstage. Sonya appears and just beats the shit out of her. Smears lipstick on her face, which gets in her hair, and then starts cutting her hair. And then she goes for a buzzer, but the refs show up. But they're all nervous, apparently, from a buzzer. Adam Pearce comes in, who's bald, so he's like, you can't get me. Takes part of the hair as a trophy. There were some glitches, so I don't know if this is a hacker or if they were trying to, do it like, the cameraman was getting hit during the melee. So we'll see if that, they end up doing anything with that. Otis and Tucker show up. We go to a backstage update. Miz and Morrison are just throwing out, making stupid puns, hair puns. Eventually Tucker hears them and kicks them out, so obviously we're going to get a tag team match of Miz and Morrison versus Heavy Machinery. And then we get our main event, the Smackdown Women's Title, Bayley versus Nikki. We get a monkey flip and a swinging neckbreaker attempt, and then Nikki hits the Thesz press. Draping leg drop by Bayley for a 2 count. Bayley tossed rib first into the post. Diving crossbody on the outside by Nikki. Tornado DDT by Nikki for a 2 count. Scorpion death drop by Nikki on the apron. Ripcord pull down by Nikki for a 2 count. Nikki gets a hold of Sasha's ring and throws it back at her. Bayley gets on commentary and Nikki trips her on it, on the commentary table. Trips her on it, smashing her against the barricade then. We get Sasha tripped on the apron by Alexa, who was trying to get involved. There are a bunch of pinning attempts, and Bayley hits the Rose Plant for the win. So this was a clean win. It was a really good match. Nikki looked great. I mean, I wish it was a little longer, but I still think it was a really good match. The fact that it was a clean win, obviously, the whole thing about Nikki having this crisis of confidence. Nikki's pissed. Alexa keeps trying to, console her and say you did great and all this stuff, and then she pushes Alexa on the ground and then leaves. Alexa looks really distraught. All of a sudden, the lights go out. And then the Fiend shows up and then kind of just stalks her in the ring, raises his hand, starts to go toward her. She's just, really scared, saying, no, no, no. And the Fiend mandible claws Bliss to end the show. That is crazy. I mean, we don't really see a lot of intergender fighting like that, especially to that degree. So this was really cool, really interesting to see. There are a lot of thoughts, is he doing this to get at Braun? Is he doing this to recruit her as the actual Sister Abigail? Is he just a normal, attacking a random person and it just happened to be her in the ring? Or is the Fiend going to go after other people? Or is it going to go after people only associated with Otis, like Tucker, maybe? Anybody else who might be friends with him? So this is really interesting. But that is SmackDown for the week, and that is overall everything that happened in WWE program this week. As always, I give my match of the week, and I am going to say the SmackDown Women's Title. 1, it was a clean win. 2, really good match. 3, a lot of storyline elements both during and after the match, especially with Nikki. Where does she go? Was she just frustrated? Is this a heel turn? Maybe she joins up as Sister Abigail, and and if Alexa is back, was she held hostage or not? Will she be on SmackDown in her normal capacity? Will she be pissed at and Nikki Cross for leaving her? So this is really interesting to see. I'm really excited for it. I thought this was a really decent week of television. So as always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there. And as always, be safe, love each other, and bye now. Okay, yep, by the building around the back. Get those 2 guys. No, get those. No! Fuck! You fucking suck. You are the worst fucking player ever. I hope you fucking die. I don't care if you're fucking 12 years old. That means you don't have a fucking job, which means you have more time to get better at this fucking game. No, don't tell your mom. I'm sorry. I'm frustrated. I'm sorry.